Give it a wee second, and we are live. So, hello everybody. Um, Welcome to this week's 20 questions plus one. So, I've Thrash this week. So, Thrash, for those that don't know you, just do you want to introduce yourself? And
hi, it's me. We're gonna give Captain a minute here to calm down.
yeah, I was
Hold
busy
on
executing people over in Joey's. So,
there we go. Perfect.
So,
All right.
do you want to say to people who you are and what you are and what you do? And
So I'm Thrash Life, formerly known as Thrash Metal Homebrew and Barbecue on YouTube. I've been with YouTube since 2006 and was kind of active through the years. And then about 2015, I started really pounding it with the homebrew stuff. So I've been pretty active since 2015. So, God, that's 9 years, going on 9 years now. I live in Colorado. I have horses, do homebrew, do music. God, what else do I do? I got all kinds of hobbies that I do, or, to keep busy. Raised all my kids. I have grandkids now. Yeah, it's I'm a former Army. I was former Army, so I'm a veteran. I served from 1984 to 1993. I was communications sergeant when I got out. I was E5 sergeant, served 2 years in Germany, been all over the world, did a lot of work in Central America, been on 5 continents of this world. One of the things I'd really like to do is go to Antarctica and Asia eventually. Those are the only 2 continents I haven't been on. That's pretty much me in a nutshell. So,
well, we'll find out more in a wee minute.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
so just say hello to a few people in chat, and then we'll start.
Sure.
So, hello, Ali.
How's everybody?
Ali was here earlier, as was Thrice when I wasn't. So I was busy picking names. Hello, the real Captain Patton. Hi, Jessica. Hello, Kirsty. Hello, Daniel.
Hey, Kirsty. Daniel.
Oh, there's that Thrice fella in the chat again. So, Stephen. Stephen's the one that gets tortured with the push bills.
Yeah.
Now in his YouTube feed, which really made me laugh. So
that's awesome.
Hello, Angie.
Angie.
Maybe nearly. Oh, Sparkle. I'm only occasionally late, but I was working technically, I suppose. You call it working, being on Joey's? No.
Yeah, Joey's a little one too.
Oh, well. Hello, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Mick T. Mick T's normally in bed. Oh.
Yeah, I was wondering who that was, and then I looked at his avatar, and I'm like, oh, that's got to be Mick T. Murphy.
Just make sure I haven't missed anybody. No, that's it. Yeah. That still makes me chuckle.
Remember the first time you did that?
So, right. So, anybody here knows your routine. I'm going to ask you questions. Some of them are serious, some of them are stupid. Answer what you want to answer. Don't answer what you don't want to answer. You can bullshit the whole way through it, or you can, entirely up to you. Okay, so the first one, then, the one we always start with, and since we met on YouTube, what's your favorite YouTube channel?
Oh man, I'm always fixing stuff, So that's one of the things that got me into YouTube was fix it stuff. So like when the DIY stuff came out for home improvement, fixing cars, stuff like that, automotive stuff, it really started blowing up in probably in the teens, 20 teens sometime.
Right.
And that's how I started to learn how to do stuff like fix stuff around the house, fix my cars and stuff. And as time went on, more material came out on specific things, like specific makes and models of cars and different things that you can, instead of doing one thing to fix something around the house, you had other YouTubers out there that were putting videos out where they had a different spin on how they fix stuff around the house or whatever. So I think one of my favorite channels that I watch on a consistent basis is South Main Auto Channel, and the guy's name is Erico, and he is out of uh, it starts with an A, but he's in upper state New York, and
Right.
he's a really good mechanic. And he puts out a video at least like once every other day or so. And he does like a What Up Wednesday. He does a live and stuff, but he's got so many followers. There's no way he can keep up with the chat. So
Yeah.
he has people that actually admin for him when he's on. But yeah, I think him because he's helped me through quite a few issues with automotive stuff. So I'm always getting my hands dirty or whatever because we keep our cars. We don't lease our cars, so we own our cars.
Right. Okay.
So after the warranty's up, you don't want to spend a ton of money. Like my wife's got a Cadillac. The parts for the Cadillac are like 10 times the cost of a normal automobile. So I learned how to do it all myself. So I would say that would be my main channel.
What age Cadillac? Is it an old one?
She has my wife has a 2008 Cadillac SRX4. It's like a mini SUV type thing. Okay. And it's got you could make a third row seat in the thing. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like the headlights, the assembly with the headlights, like $800. And to be able to change like the headlight on it, you have to take the whole front of the bezel of the front of the car off to get to the bolts to unscrew it so you can replace the light bulb. So whoever the engineers are nowadays need to be taken out back and whipped to death pretty much.
I think honestly, I think the car designers deliberately make the things difficult so as you can't do it yourself. Because most people wouldn't. They'd look at it and go, "Fuck it, take it to the garage."
Yeah, but it's for them to do like the lights or whatever. The labor is the charge, so it takes them forever to do that. So it's something that used to take like 5 minutes to do. You pull up to an auto parts store, go get like a light bulb or something. It would take you 5 minutes just to change that, or a battery or something. Now they got the batteries in the wheel wells, and because they're trying to find other spaces for the components of the engines. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got my first wee car was a wee Volkswagen Polo, and even just trying to change, I bought myself a new speaker stuff for the stereo. The first thing you do when you're young, I want a good stereo on it. Had to go and buy a special part just to take the speakers out.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's nonsense. But YouTube
and it requires a special tool, and if you don't do it right, you're going to bust a clip or something, and you're going to have to replace things. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, YouTube's for every shitty bit about YouTube, and there's lots of shitty things on YouTube. Some of the how-to stuff's brilliant. You can almost look up anything these days.
Right.
It's not to say you'll get great advice, but there's videos out there. I suppose that's the trick.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's not only watching one video, it's like trying to find a bunch of videos about the same subject and watch them all and you get your head wrapped around and do it the way you think it should be done then.
Yeah, because I do go to YouTube for it. But if I can't blag like one of you guys to how do I do this, what do I do here, then yeah, the first thing you do is YouTube how to. But it's trying to separate the wheat from the chaff, I suppose. It's you don't be halfway through something because you followed somebody's bit of advice. Because simple example, when I finally decided to pick the acoustic guitar up again, it needed restrung, and I hadn't done it in so long. I literally had to YouTube, and then I watched the first couple of videos where I actually went through like one, 2 sets of strings trying to get it right, because it'd been that long. But the video was, sort of halfway through it, and what I should have done was, I should have just done, watch more things and found out what worked for me. But so yeah, it's that. Well, actually, really, what I should have done was got you or fucking JV, so should we would have done, but no, okay, fair play. That's the first one. That's the tough one out of it. So Um, what first got you into music? So I suppose it's a two-parter for you because you play music, you perform, you're in a band. But what got you listening first, and then what made you jump up on
It started way back when I was a wee child.
Yeah,
I played many instruments coming up through the years, and the first instrument that I played was the piano. And I think I was 7 years old, 6 or 7 years old. And I took piano lessons for, it was private lessons. It wasn't through school. Took private lessons for a couple years. And then from there, um, I got into school band, and at the time, I wanted to get into the brass instruments. So I was a little guy, and I picked out the biggest instrument they had, which was the sousaphone. So the big one that comes up over your head with the big
right,
old bell around your head. So I learned how to play the sousaphone. I played that for I think a year, and then uh, I got into violin. I played the violin for probably 2 years, and then started getting into the snare drum. I wanted to get into the drum corps. I didn't. I studied and I was studying drums, so I had the angle practice pad and the drumsticks, but I never did get into the drums at that time.
right,
After the drums, what did I get into then? Oh, junior high and high school came. So this is where it got interesting. This is where the new wave British heavy metal and stuff started going. Iron Maiden started coming out. This is when a
Saxon,
lot MTV era was big. MTV era was huge.
yeah,
And this is the first time I got into guitars. I started playing bass guitar. And I picked up the bass in junior high, and I played with a high school band, and they were doing kind of like what would it be like? Like a Def Leppard type kind of a pop rock band. And this is when Ozzy was going solo. This is when uh, Iron Maiden was first coming out. This is Def Leppard time. This is Rat. This is all of the hair bands were really coming out. Motley Crue was coming out, and I was playing bass before when they were on their Livewire album. So I was learning my chops on listening to records, spinning records, and just learning my ear. So, and then eventually, as you get going with it, you start learning the notes, you start learning the strings and everything. But you always go back to learning with your ear because you catch that ear. But what really got me into the music was we had a foreign exchange student live with us for couple months. He came from Germany. His name was Matthias, and he lived with us. And we were up in the mountains here in Colorado, and we were having a picnic. And he gave me which one was it? I think it was Power Slave. I think he gave me Power Slave, Iron Maiden's Power Slave. At that moment, I was hooked, absolutely hooked. Started diving in that side, got away from kind of the Def Leppard's always been in my heart because they were kind of like the band that got me going. They were big on MTV and everything. I wasn't really into Van Halen. I was into the guitar playing that Eddie was doing, the tapping and all that. You learn that. That's Eddie. You see someone tap, they've learned some Eddie. But learning the bar chords, getting that distortion and just the heaviness, and then being in Germany when it really hit and Master of Puppets came out from Metallica. That
right,
album absolutely changed my life. I'm over there, the wall's still up. We're working over there thinking that the big old Russian big red bear is going to come across the Fulda Gap there, and we're going to have World War III back in the 80s. So that music over there, I I found all kinds of music over there being in Europe,
yeah,
Motorhead. God, there's just so many to be named. I was
yeah.
into Queensryche. I was into a lot of the heavy stuff. I just had a big rainbow, of music that I just absolutely loved. Could not stand rap. You know, there was always a barrier up with rap.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
before hip hop was out. You know,
just to pick up on that, so obviously you were over in Europe because of the military. You were stationed over there,
Mhm.
and then because see, I know Metallica is an American band, but they're probably like a lot of American bands broke in the UK and Europe. Like I might at that time I'm wrong, but a lot of times true because there was always such, especially in mainland Europe, such a massive metal scene.
Yeah.
So, but if you think if you hadn't been in Europe, do you think you still would have stumbled across it and
Yeah,
fell for
because
them?
I heard word of it from my younger brother Joe.
Right,
He goes, "Man, you got to listen to this." And that was at the same time where I was going to a club called the Rock Fabrique, and at the time it was Rolling Stone's number ninth best rock club to go to in the
right,
world.
okay,
And I remember them playing Master Puppets, and people go out on the dance floor. You know, I was an air guitar extraordinaire,
right,
and we always thought they were saying Master Blaster. And the album wasn't out in Europe at that time;
yeah,
it just come out. So trying to find the album and then finding out it was Master Master when they were singing it and stuff, but
yeah,
it it just blew me away. I mean, the machine gun guitars and the double guitar melodies, you know, especially like with Iron Maiden did, a lot of the bands of Judas Priest, all of them with the double leads and all that. That was just a guitar person's just love, you know.
yeah.
So yeah. And then while I was in the barracks there, I played with a band over there in Germany. It was American servicemen like myself, and there was a place where we could go practice at one of the casernas that were there. The little posts that they had. They had this building where they had soundproof rooms and everything. We used to go practice all the time and go out and play. And I was playing bass, and then there was this real flashy guitar player that was in my barracks that was in not my platoon, but a different platoon. And I hooked up with him and we started playing. And then we found out there was a keyboardist that was down in another barrack, and we all got together and started playing. And I hit the guy up and I said, "Hey, can I borrow your six string for a couple days so I could play?" He had a couple of them,
Right.
so he let me borrow. I remember it's this beautiful, black and yellow, like tiger claw stripes, where it was just the flashiest guitar. See, and just playing this thing, it had the Floyd Rose trim on it and everything. I'm learning how to play through cassettes. And you order stuff out through, I think it was Circus Magazine, I think was
Right.
the thing back in the day. But that's how I started on the six string. So I started playing six string in probably 1986 or 87. Hey, what's up, Chris? So that's how it all started. So I've been back and forth on the bass, play the keys a little bit still, six string. I can play drums, but I'm not a professional at it at all. But that's how I fell into the whole metalhead and thrash metal and the music that I'm into. That's how it all
And
started.
and if you've impressed this man talking about your music,
Yeah.
you're doing well.
Yeah, JV's awesome. JV's awesome. I just wish there was a way that we could play online, like on StreamYards here, and it was synced, but it doesn't work, which sucks.
No, even with the broadband all getting so much better, there's still a wee tiny lag, and it doesn't mean anything you and I talking, but try and get people playing the time, and it's not going to be right.
It's like a split second to it's just that much off that just throws everyone off.
And some of us might not notice it, but people with musical ear like you and JV and Blake and PC and all, absolutely will. So I don't want to love it. No, fair play, because that's it is a lot of it is just your surrounding, and I grew up listening to my oldest brother, listening to he had Dio albums and stuff, and used to sneak into his room when he wasn't in. He was I shared with my other brother, because we'd only the 3 bedrooms, so mom and dad in one, and Stephen being the oldest, he had record player and he'd all these old vinyls, and I used to remember get in and he'd have Dio playing, he'd sort of stand at the end of the hall, and listen to it and that, and sneak in when he wasn't there to try and And
Exactly.
listen to someone. I've actually inherited a lot of the vinyl. I've a lot of it in there, and there's old. I mean, I have the old Saxon Crusader double
Oh
album,
yeah.
the one that opens out, and
Yeah, this Saxon was awesome.
just one. I
They
mean,
still are.
oh god, I saw them this year again. You know, love them. I've seen them. Jesus, probably 6 or 7 times now, and I'd go and see them if they played here every month. I'd go and see them. They're that good. But that I
That's
just remember
awesome.
that album. Love the
Yeah.
artwork, and talk mention it with the kids miss out on the artwork now. They download one song from iTunes, or they just
I know.
go on to Spotify. And,
I mean, that's part of the miss too, is when it comes to music, when I was heavily getting into it in high school, especially, and junior high, you waited outside the music store for the doors to open, not only to get the new album or whatever, but concert tickets and meeting people, because the bands would
yeah,
come around to the music stores too, and they would sign stuff and everything. They don't have that anymore. Everything,
yeah,
that touch is no longer there, and
yeah.
that stigma
I
of it.
I agree, because I mean, what I found was, I mean, you know me, I'm not exactly a people person. I'm better now than I used to be. But when you go to a rock gig, or even one of the best things when I went to my first festival, everybody's there to see somebody. So it's such an easy in to talk to people. Who are you
Yeah,
here for? You
they
know what I
got
mean?
something common.
Yeah, at the
Yeah,
start of it's who you here to see, and at the end of it was, when you're getting, God, who's been the best you've seen so far, so you get that chatting. But so just to go back, the album art, we don't have. My first ever album was High Voltage by AC/DC, and I
yeah.
was only a
Mhm.
kid. I had money that was given at Christmas. I didn't know any better. I just went down, looking through the records in the old co-op down the centre of Belfast, and literally just looked, and just there's Angus with a big lightning bolt
Yeah.
behind him, and I went, okay, I have no idea who this is, but the album's cool. Bought it, took it home, fell in love. My favorite
You put
band
the
of all
record
time.
on and you're looking at the inner sleeve and reading
Yeah,
along on the lyrics
yeah,
and the
yeah, and
artwork on
there's
it.
all his old school reports and all were in the back of it and stuff. And the same with Night at the Opera, Queen.
Oh yeah, Queen.
Just
Yeah,
the white cover, and purely because of the artwork. Didn't know
yeah.
one thing about them just as a kid, and I think people just miss out on that now, it's a shame, So but sure. Uh,
That's cool.
okay. Question 3 then. What's been the best experience of your life?
Oh, I think I think
ABC,
the best
Miss Piggy.
experience of my life was leaving home at the age of 18, 17, 18. I think I was 18. Leaving home at 18, going through all the training I did in the service, because I went right from high school into the military.
18 then.
Yeah, I was 18.
Yeah.
And I went to basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. We called it Fort Lost in the Woods, Missouri. Um, I went to my AIT, which is an advanced individual school, is Signal Corps school. It was in Augusta, Georgia, which is Fort Gordon, Georgia. And then
Okay.
from there, I went to airborne school at Fort Benning, Georgia, and spent 4 weeks there. So after all that training was done, I went in October of 1984, and I was done with my initial training, probably about July or August of '85, and then I was supposed to get orders to go to Fort Hood, Texas.
Right.
And then at the last minute, all of the people that had my military occupational skill, which is I was a 31 Charlie, they they yanked our orders, and we were all reordered to go over to Germany. And I was
Okay.
like, "Whoa!" You're 18 years old. You're like, "Well, I
When was
wanted to
that
go."
roughly?
Was
What
that
year? What year was that roughly?
1985?
All right. So Cold War is still on, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
When the wall came down 91, wasn't it? The wall came
89.
down 89. And yeah, sorry,
89 is
right.
when it came out. Uh, all the people that I went through the Signal Corps and had airborne, we were all together. So there was probably 6 or 7 of us,
Right.
and we all went to the airport at the same time, and we're all the same age. We're 18 years old, and we're off to Germany. I remember arriving in Germany. on a cold, rainy night at Rammstein, and going down to my unit in Ludwigsburg near Stuttgart, and just going, dude, this is it was the start of the best experience of my life.
Okay.
And if I could have done it, if I could have retired from it, I would have, but I'm medicaled out. But I was able to, to live in Germany, to be able to travel throughout Europe, England, Scotland, Ireland. I've been to Portugal. I've been all over Europe. And then doing duty stations when we're out doing maneuvers. I've been all over Saudi Arabia. This is before the Gulf War. This is way before 9/11
Right.
and all that happened.
Yeah.
So Dubai, oh, God, I can't remember. God, it's been so damn long.
Yeah.
But I did 4 years active duty. So I did 2 years in Germany, and then I did 2 years at Fort Stewart, Georgia. I came back stateside and went to Fort Stewart, Georgia. Jumped out of a lot of airplanes, jumped out of a lot of helicopters, did a lot of long range surveillance stuff with an intelligence unit. I was with 2 intelligence units while I was in 1, 2, 3. I'm intelligent, and communications the whole time I was in. So in essence, I was a radio guy or a radio teletype or whatever communications there was. I learned how to do it. So satellite communications, microwave communications. I was an antenna guru. I was you named it, I could do it. I was kind of like the military equivalent of a ham radio operator. That's what I did. And then in the reserves, I did 4 years in the reserves here in Colorado, and we got to do. I'll just give you the finger. No, I'll do it this way.
It's too late.
Who is this anyway? I got to do a stint down in Honduras in the middle of July. And there's nothing but banana fields. I mean, it's jungle. We got to help a lot of people down there. The unit I was in was a combat heavy, what would you call it? Engineer unit. I was a communications sergeant there. They were building a road from one side of Honduras to the other so that they could get the dole trucks to go back and forth, and they had some sort of highway, and it was pretty dangerous when we were down there. My truck got shot up by El Salvador. Honduras at the time was having issues with them, and we took a couple bullet holes in a convoy that we were in. We had sandbags on the floor. The windows were duct taped so that if they shattered, they wouldn't shatter in on you. Wearing flak vests, helmets. We went out to a couple villages, took helicopters out to a couple villages and helped with the medical and stuff, and did security while the doctors and everything were in there. They were yanking teeth left and right. The diet that they had, the diet that the people have there are pretty much fruit and whatever they could raise livestock. So you saw a lot of chickens, some small cows and stuff like that. No cars. Kids don't have shoes. The only transportation that they have other than walking is like donkeys or burros of some sort. I got a ton of pictures and stuff. Someday, if anyone's interested, I'll show you. It's pretty cool. But I got to go to places in the world as a young adult before the age of 25 that a lot of people would never see in their entire life. Absolutely. I got to experience things and get paid for it. And just being an innocent, when you're that young, you're invincible. So you'd go above and beyond to what you think you can do. You can actually do more because it's all up here. And serving with the long range surveillance people and the Rangers and the special forces teams and doing all kinds of tactical stuff and training to go to the desert was pretty much what we did in that intelligence unit. So after I got out of the reserves, I re-upped into the National Guard and did 2 years with the Field Artillery Brigade. I was a brigade level communications sergeant there, and got out as a sergeant. After that, I medicaled out because my knees and my hips and my ankles couldn't let me run anymore.
I mean, it sounds great. So, would you still recommend, the way the world is at the minute, would you still recommend military service for a young guy?
If they changed it, because it's really dummied down now. when I went in, you had to be gung ho. I have an ex-son-in-law, and I have one of my boys who served as well. I have my son Matthew, who served with the 101st Airborne. He was in for 3 years, and he told me he's been out for a few
So you
years
say
now.
101st Airborne there?
Yeah, he was 101st Airborne.
That's where I was getting. I was just saying to somebody today that you were in the Airborne. I thought it was 101st, but
well, he was at the 101st.
Yeah, no, that's where I got confused.
He was. I was airborne qualified. He used to rope out of the UH-60 choppers. He used to do that. He was telling me when he was in, they had the cards that if the drill sergeants were getting too tough on people, they could pull a card out and go have their safe space or whatever. Dude, you couldn't do that when I was in. Dude, it was hardcore. You couldn't get away with that, man, when I was in. But now it's to, serving your country is the best honor that you can do for her, because it's selfless service. It's you're giving of something of yourself, which is your life, to serve what she means, what the Constitution means, and with all the changes that has happened in the world and everything, sometimes I feel like the time that I spent in was a big waste because it's turned so sour and so backwards. Esprit de corps means nothing anymore to anyone. The brotherhood, I have brotherhood with people that I served with. I still am friends with Facebook and email and everything else, but you don't have that camaraderie anymore. America doesn't mean the same thing anymore to people. People are born under this umbrella of security and everything, and they need to go out and spend some time in a third world country and come back and realize how good they actually have it in a first world country like the United States or the UK. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that's part of the problem at the minute. There's too many spoiled people that don't realize, how bad things were and how bad things could be. So
yeah,
because everything's safe now, it's far too easy to bitch about your country. It's far too easy to complain about, oh, we want this, we want that. I think one of the scary things is how many people think it's about time we give real communism a go. And yeah, communism's killed more people than fascism by a factor of about 4. And it's people that don't know any better. It's just it does worry me. But you're right, the military these days is it has been so watered down in the interest of wokery. Just get people in. I mean, banning people from certain roles because of color to try and hit some stupid target instead of just have the right people. Offering to pay for the fucking the medically transition people and promoting people to having a general on TV with a dog mask on and stuff. That's it. It's weird.
It is.
But yeah, that's maybe for another show.
Yeah, so, I could go on forever on that.
Okay, question 4 then. A bit more lighthearted.
All right.
If you could kill one person without any consequences, who would it be?
I was watching your show, I think it was with Angie, and I was sitting there thinking in the background. Kill one person and without any consequence to it. He's already dead, but if I could kill him if I could kill him, if he could die again only by my hand, it would probably be my biological father.
Okay.
My biological father was an abusive drunkard, and growing up, I was the youngest of 3, and he used to take it out on the middle sibling, which is my older brother. I have an older sister too. She's 4 years older than me. But he was very abusive. When he beat you, he would try and do it where your clothes would cover it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that if people wouldn't talk.
That's a dangerous abuser. We want to just lash out, maybe be a black eye, and then but
Well,
run out of his way to not get caught.
We had a billiard table in our basement. I remember running away from him, my brother and I running away from him, and he would grab the pool balls and frickin' chuck them at us, and they'd go through the wall. Yeah, he'd connect a couple times with my brother. He never connected with me, thank God. But the guy, he wouldn't quit cheating on my mother, and I think they finally split. I was 7 years old, I think, when they split, and it really caused issues with my brother and my sister. I was young enough to kind of suppress it a bit. So, and then years down the road, I think when I was 14 or 15, my mother met another guy. His name is Michael, and they started dating. He had a son. His name's Joseph, and they got married, so I got adopted. So my last name used to be Schrader.
Right, okay. I didn't know
and
that.
Now that's Fisher. So so I inherited I got adopted and got an adopted younger brother, which is cool. He's a couple years younger than me.
That's Scott.
Huh?
Is the adopted one Scott?
Older brother. Scott's my older brother. My younger brother is Joseph, and then my sister is Sharon.
I was just, I was only asking because it means that I was just wondering if the next time Scott tells a really long-winded joke that doesn't go anywhere, you could threaten to unadopt him. So
yeah,
but,
I haven't talked to him I think since Christmas. God, yeah. Anyway, if I could get away with it, he I guess I hadn't seen him since he had left. So you're talking 50 years, and then found out that I found someone on Facebook that I found out was the daughter of the gal that he married. I guess it was a daughter son, and saw his pictures and stuff on there before. She doesn't share them out anymore. She probably found out that I was freaking doing that. And I guess he died of real bad heart issues. I mean, I guess the guy would just keep having heart attacks or whatever, and that's what took him. So he was a smart motherfucker, though. He was like a brainiac. He made his own telescopes. He was heavily into astronomy. He was a ham radio operator, at home. This is back when, before the internet and all that stuff. This is back in the 70s,
Yeah, they go to the library and get actual books and learn.
Yeah.
No, fair play. Like, I didn't know that, it's
yep. So
it's tough, but
yep.
But
it's tough.
Sort of what gets you where you are now, and it just means you learned a lot of shit and not to do with your kids. Suppose.
Oh, you learn how to not treat people.
Absolutely, so okay, then we'll go back to a bit of music again then. What artist, alive or dead, would you most like to work with?
Alive or dead? I would like, oh man, I've always loved Journey. I would love to work with Steve Perry. He's still alive. I would love to work with him vocal wise.
Okay.
Neil Sean's no slacker either. I'd like to with guitar with him too, but I think from a vocal standpoint, Steve Perry's one of the top with me, along with Freddie Mercury and those that are just like these outstanding vocalists. I would love to work with Steve Perry.
I thought you'd have picked one of the Metallica boys, to be honest.
Well, they're not really singing. If you really look at it, they're if you compare James Hetfield and Freddie Mercury.
Oh no, it's apples and oranges, you know.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
but
It's totally different. It's learning how to sing from the head and singing from the chest. And James has got he's got a growl to him, where Steve Perry, he doesn't have a growl. It's all camber. It's all nasal. It's all throat. It's learning how to vocal sing correctly,
right.
and be beautiful at it. You know what I mean? Sing like an angel,
Good night,
pretty
Ollie.
much. Hey, Ali. See you later.
Might be for different reasons, though, Miss Picker. No, fair play, but I get your. I mean, yeah, you can't. It's hard to compare anybody with Freddie, I suppose. But I thought you. I mean, the only thing is, I thought maybe you'd have went for guitarist. I thought you'd maybe went. If you could have,
well,
jammed with Hendrix or
guitarist, I would love to work with Hetfield, because he's the one that I kind of mimicked when I picked up the 6-string. From the bass standpoint, it was pretty much the Clash, stuff like that. That's what I did. But if it was guitar, I'd probably want to work with James Hetfield.
Because Hetfield's got a weird. Hetfield's all down picking, isn't he? Or is he?
Pretty much, yeah.
He doesn't alternate the way you're trained to do it. He's down, but he's got the speed for it, So he's obviously,
Exactly. So. I mean, this is the pro at it. I mean, I've always loved playing Hetfield. I love playing Metallica. Same with Megadeth too. I mean, you could go to any of those bands and say, "Man, I'd love to, sit with whoever, Brian May, and
Oh, he doesn't never get respect. Yeah, Brian May never gets enough respect within the musical community. Like the other guitarists will go, yeah, he's right up there. He's but
Dave Murray, and I'd love to sit with Dave Murray and them with Iron Maiden.
Dave Murray, I don't know that name.
He's one of the guitarists for Iron Maiden, my friend.
All right, okay. Yeah. I listen to the music. I don't deep dive into the,
I study the people. I study what they do. Watching Steve Harris the first time.
But that's the musician in you, because whenever JV used to be a YouTuber and used to do, used to go live and do stuff, when we did the odd music one, I always said I came from the point of view as a fan. You came from a point of view of a musician. Not just a musician, but you hear the technical ability of the guitarist and all the rest of it. For me, it was, did it make my toes tap? Did it make me want to get up and headbang? Did it make me want to
exactly?
But you're hearing songs going, what's he doing? Is that down tuned? Is he? It's
exactly drop D2ing.
Yeah,
something that's not traditional.
Yeah. And that's because I always remember as a kid trying to work out why people on stage had 8 guitars, and a lot of it's because they're all, a lot of them are just tuned differently, so as they can pick one up. One's will be in, you say drop E or whatever, always handy. So for us mere mortals,
we
afford to not play one at a time, So all right. So question number 6. Excuse me. What is your biggest insecurity?
I'm always in the middle of everything, so insecurity. The angst of not knowing things, insecure. What am I insecure about?
Now, if you don't have any, I mean,
well, no, there's just so much. Trying to pull something out. Trusting myself, I guess, would be a good insecurity for me. Is trusting the answer that I have the first time and not questioning it. You know what I mean? When knowing the answer, but being cautious on answering that answer. That's an insecurity that I have, is being able to
self-doubt then, so you know it, but you
just don't want to speak up about it because you don't want to feel like you're the going to be laughed at if you're wrong. You know what I mean? That's an insecurity I have.
I think a lot of people have that. I find myself in work just I know the stuff, but when I'm asked to do, sometimes when it's just left to me to do, I'm afraid of fucking it up. I'm afraid of making a mistake, and I'd find myself doing the same calculation 4 times. So it's and get over it. It's weird, but I mean
JV's correct in the chat. JV is absolutely correct. I was insecure. I was insecure about my answer. That's funny.
I don't know. Funny enough, when you said self-doubt, my first thought was Joey doesn't have that, so I think Joey's biggest insecurity is no, I'm not even going to say it.
I think his insecurity would be losing his voice.
Or losing his weed.
He's very forward.
Dropping his weed somewhere when he was out, that would be. So.
Right.
Okay. So one of our old standards then. Question 7. Are aliens real? And if so, have they visited us?
Here's how I look at it. I look at it I look at it scientifically at how old our universe is that we know of, that people say it is. 4 billion, let's say our solar system, our Earth is 4 billion years old, right? Being a religious person that I am, I believe certain things where aliens themselves, I believe they're real. I do, but they're not like us. And if they visited us, I think the government here, especially here in the United States, is blowing smoke up everyone's ass right now, because they haven't come out with any proof about anything, even though they say that aliens are real. I believe that if you look at it from a standpoint of radio waves, the first television broadcast was Hitler at the Olympics.
In the Olympics. Was it the Olympics? I thought it was Nuremberg.
Yeah, so it was in the Olympic. It was the Olympics when they transmitted that, and that transmission left the Earth back in what, I think it was 39 or 42 or whatever it was. I think it was 42.
No, 42 was during the war. The Olympics were before the war.
That they were having the Olympics and shit, and he was doing his talk or whatever. And the radio, the TV waves, the waves leave the Earth, and they travel the speed of light. Let's say, for right now, it's still in the it's still in our part of the galaxy. That transmission is still radiating out. Okay, how many? If there were other aliens that were like from other, unless there's a way to get them to be able to be more advanced than us, let's say. Because we could be still kind of pond mush to be able to fold space and be able to travel long distances or whatever from planets that would be like ours, that could support life like that, to be able to create aliens to come visit us is, I mean, who knows? But to be able to be equal to us on our knowledge may be very elementary compared to their knowledge. We may be very knowledgeable where they're toads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for them to point out and come to the Earth itself over the vastness of space, over either a galaxy or the universe itself, I believe that why would they come here?
Yeah. Oh, maybe you think back, mankind has always wanted to explore. The only reason we haven't explored our universe, our galaxy, is because we can't yet. People didn't explore the Americas until people, somebody just worked out how to make a big fucking boat with
Yeah,
a big cloth on it. So who knows? And maybe it is just the vastness just makes it impossible. Because I mean, there's scientists believe that if there's contact, it'll probably be through some sort of communication rather than physically get here. But who knows? There's all sorts of weird and wonderful, scientific stuff out there. Because I'd always the thing about I watched a lot of sci-fi when I was a kid, but
mhm.
they call it science fiction, but a lot of the stuff's based on science theory.
Yes.
It doesn't mean
Mhm.
it's possible or they'll ever do it, but theoretically, stuff like wormholes and all are theoretically possible. Things like um, and like solar sails. Solar sails can get you a ridiculous speed, but they take forever to to build that
Exactly.
speed up.
Like a
So
photon drive, yeah.
yeah,
Plasma drive.
yeah, and it's so who knows what's going on. I just think statistically, because there's so many. I mean, there's
I think
so many
we're
galaxies
very
out there.
young. I
Yeah,
think man is very young when it comes to our evolution. Like I was looking at JV said, or even Earth has only been glowing less than 100 years with electric. That's from Flaccid Flopper. So it's
yeah,
we've only been in cars for a little over 100 years. I mean,
yeah,
um, fossil fuels. I mean, we're very young, but when it comes to like the computer power and everything, the Moore's law, everything doubles every 18 months or whatever it is now.
yeah,
We as a world society have advanced ourselves a multitude times compared to what it was before like the 1800s or whatever. You know what I
yeah.
mean? From that technology.
Yeah, no, just Google it there. So it is estimated that there are between 200 billion to 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. So to think that we're the only
Well, I
okay, let's
believe
be
there's other
generous,
life. I believe there's
75,
other life,
yeah,
but intelligent life, it depends on the circumstance. I'm going to say yes, there's intelligent life. I'm going to say I think there's more life like we see around us because we're the top of the food chain here on Earth, you know,
yeah,
because of our intellect. Uh, other survivable, like let's say like a velociraptor, sure, it'll take out an ape. It's an apex predator because
yeah.
its only instinct is to kill and survive. You
Mm.
know, we kill, survive, and reason at the same time. You know,
To a degree, yes.
and
Uh,
that's kind of our downfall too. That's why we have wars still because man can't learn to get together because someone has something that the other person has. It's like it's playing in the sandbox with your friends and ending up in a fight because he's got the toy that you want.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay then. So let's go YouTube again. Then question 8: what on YouTube disappoints you the most?
Oh, just the like I kind of stated about being outside of America or getting out of the first world country that you're in and going to a third world country and staying there for a couple weeks and then coming back and realizing what you have. You come back and realize how sheepish and how dumbed down people actually are, especially Americans. They live for their Starbucks. They live for they live to be a sheep. They like being told what to do and what's right and wrong, and follow and not leading. You see shit like TikTok and stuff like that with the stupid little videos that people are doing nowadays. That it's showing how stupid civilization actually is from a first world country. Other second and third world countries see people that are they're trying to survive, and we're
Yeah,
here being stupid. You know what I mean? Um, so YouTube, it's the stupid stuff on YouTube where uh, people are dumbing down themselves. They're doing stupid shit and showing the world how stupid they really are.
right.
You know,
So an example I'd be a bunch of people on a YouTube channel picking people to die this year for points and prizes.
That's part of it. That could be part of it, Joey. No, it's the company you keep. You know, everyone talks about how advanced we are, you know, as a species and everything. But you look back and you see how many people are still sitting on the toilet. You know, they talk shit out of both ends.
Yeah, no,
That's it for me. You know.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with that. You know, I just idiots is. I don't know how I would put up with so many of them. You know, you know. See, but look, when I take over the world, I'll fix it. So don't worry about that. So, right? And it really will be hashtag Iron Fist. So,
There
right.
you go.
So this is a new one.
Okay.
What is your favorite war?
Oh man, World War II. World War II has always been one of those things that I love to study, watch movies on and stuff because my family's been a part of it. My grandfather served as a Merrill's Marauder on D-Day. He on Omaha Beach. They're the ones that went up the cliffs to take out the 88 guns that you see on the movies depicting all that stuff. They were the first Rangers. Got me hooked on that. Also, I have my son Matthew who's heavily into it too. So we watch a lot of stuff. You know, Band of Brothers, the Pacific. You know, anything that comes up that's World War II based and it's based on true story, we like to watch. But yeah, learning the weapons that they used, the tactics that they used, especially watching. There's a YouTube channel called The Operation Room. If you ever get a chance, watch that. It goes through all of what they do. It's like an overhead, like it's not a cartoon, but it shows the overhead view on what certain troops and units did to take over certain cities and stuff. And another thing too is being over in Germany, getting to see things like near Stuttgart. They have this hill. It's called Rubble Hill, and it's a place where they took all of the rubble because of the bombings that the U.S. did and everything. You know, Russians and everything they did to Stuttgart, and they took all of that rubble and they made one huge hill. And they built the Autobahn to go right up to this hill and then go around it and then continue so you don't miss it. And this hill is huge. And at the top of it, they got like all kinds of things representing what it represents, you know, like
I've never heard of that. That's a new one. So
yeah. And then the different places going places, going up on hills and looking over the countryside and seeing where all the bombs have been dropped. You can still see the recesses in the earth and everything from all the bombing and stuff that they did over there. It was crazy, man. Going to the Eagle's Nest in Austria, you know, where Hitler dude went up there. I wish I knew more about it when I went up there like I know now.
Yeah.
When I was there in the 80s, about all of that there and seeing it depicted in some of these you know, true to life movie type stuff. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I'd love to go to the Eagle's Nest and all that. It's stuff I might do eventually because I mean I work with a buddy that he went to Normandy and stuff, and it's not really that far from me, so I really should do it at some point, you know. And I'd love to go and see, you know, the beaches and stuff, and you know, and because
I never got over it.
It's World War II for me as well. It's the one I was always fascinated with. I always read about when I was younger, and you know, and it's the Eagle's Nest was the holiday home at Birch's Garden that was made for Hitler. It was like a surprise thing, the big gold elevator up to it, not, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, all the top Nazis lived in Birch's Garden, so they built him this thing up on the top of one of the hills.
Yep.
And you know, it's fantastic because I mean the problem is people have threatened a few times, oh, you can't have people because the restaurant now.
Oh, is it?
And people were saying about how you shouldn't be going, you should pull everything down. But I think that's stupid. History shouldn't be forgotten, and one of the ways to forget it is to pull all this shit down. I mean, because
Exactly.
it's happening over there and it's happening here. Anybody with any sort of remotely questionable thing in their past, even though it was acceptable at the time, you're judging people by modern standards. They might have been there's American heroes now that heroes of the battles against the British and all, and they're pulling them down because despite everything they did in creating America and all, they did bad things in the past, or now things that weren't bad then, like weren't considered bad then, like
Yeah.
maybe owning slaves, but
Exactly.
and so and everything's getting off. So they're pulling statues down, and I think even down the south, the Confederate statues pulling down Robert E. Lee and all.
Yep.
By all means, put a plinth in front of it, and put context and all, and let people learn from it. But
what's happening is when they do that, you're going to relearn that history again.
Unfortunately, but not in the right way.
Exactly.
Take kids to these places, take them to see statues, tell them, what they did, what they stood for.
Right.
It's they're
now the majority of America has risen above that, and that was a learning curve. And that the Civil War and everything, that wasn't a happy time.
Yeah,
it's a lot of brothers died. A lot of people died. Fighting for all that. Yep.
Didn't know that, Lex.
Oh shit, Dunkirk. Yeah, studying Dunkirk. Oh my god. Also Stalingrad. Even World War II is just so massive because it was two fronts in the Pacific and in Europe, so, and just how, especially the British and Americans, especially, being just everywhere, just spread out and having to fight all these conflicts, and how all of the factories and stuff from, the UK, England and the United States, how everyone that was at home was help keeping the war going.
That's it, absolutely. Because I think the revisionism is dangerous. You get people now that want to have a go at Churchill, and Churchill possibly saved the world. Because I've said this: if you take this to it's extreme. If the UK had fallen early, which it was very close to doing, and Churchill was a massive reason that we didn't, then the Americans wouldn't have been able to land on Europe.
Yeah.
Right? If America finally came into the war, which they might not have done without the Brits, So if the Germans then hadn't had the garrison and fight in Western Europe, they probably would have beaten Russia.
Yeah, they would have.
Yeah, because the only
reason...
if
it wasn't for that time of year, too, where the winter...
Yeah, but even at that, but if you think about it, if so the war broke out in 39, France and Belgium and Holland all fell in the 40s. If the UK had fallen in 1940, maybe 41, then all them resources went in straight to the Eastern Front. Russia would have been obliterated.
Yeah,
so the only reason that the Russians were able to, obviously they retreated because because it's such a massive area, but they retreated. Yes, the winter eventually became a factor, but only because if the Germans had more resources, they'd have been in the cities, that had taken Moscow, that had taken Stalingrad, that had taken, and even if the way he swung, south to the Ukraine because he wanted that bread basket. So if they then had taken Russia, they only had to go across the Bering Straits to take America.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And
yeah,
so
we were next.
it's small margin, all ifs, ands, buts, and maybes, but
yeah, if they would have took England, America was next.
Yeah, and who knows what happened? Because let's face it, the Germans were working on the A-bomb too.
Oh,
and if the resources freed up and all the rest of it, and then all the scientists they got, so who knows?
Oh yeah, good talk. We have to talk more.
Who'd have thought a question about war would have led to that?
There's a lot behind that.
Absolutely. So again, another one of our standards then.
Yeah.
Well, question 10: does God exist, or does He love you?
God does exist. And God does love me, yes. And I will give 3 examples. 2 of them are in the Garden of Eden. God created man because he loved man. He created woman because he loved man enough to have someone to be with him. That's 2 there. Number 3 is my Savior Jesus Christ died on the cross for all man's sins because he loved us so much that he gave his life to forgive our sins. That's 3. So
Okay.
I could go into some massive detail, but
No, that's all right.
everybody
Like,
knows the stories.
yeah, it's look, it's you know me. It's not my cup of tea, but it's each to their own.
Yeah.
You know. So, right. So we're at question 10. So, this is,
Oh yeah, Bushmills.
You're off the drink. So, but
I need
I'm
to.
not.
Oh no, I got a Diet Dr Pepper. I just finished my A&W root beer.
So so this is time for a wee word from our unofficial, not even sponsor, but just somebody I'm trying to blag a bottle of whiskey from.
Welcome to Bushmills, not a sponsor.
Right, halfway there. So let's go. Hello. Cheers.
Cheers, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh fuck. No, I'm look, when I wanted to do this, it was you, Joey, with all due respect to everybody else, but it was the OG ones that got me doing this shit in the first place.
Yeah.
That I had first thought I'm doing this, so okay, so question 11 then. Laura was a silly one, but if you could pick one superpower,
Oh man,
what would it be?
If I could pick one superpower, what would it be? I never really thought about this.
Look, see, some of the questions are more serious than others,
If I could make people have common sense, but I know
might be beyond even Marvel.
So if you were to be like a Marvel comic character, are you talking something like that?
Sort of thing, yeah.
DC. Okay. Oh man, I'd be Superman. I'd be leap tall buildings with a single bound.
Not big holes like Daniel said. No. Yeah, I know. So
I think strength and speed and all that. The superpower of, I guess it would be Superman's strength.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
One.
I'm always lifting shit, I guess. Bales of hay, grain bags. Always toting shit around.
I know. And you'd be able to pick the horses up and just carry them into the stable whenever they're messing around you. Right. I've asked you once, now you're coming, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really don't know.
Like Republic, okay, so question 12 then. So obviously there's YouTube questions because that's where we all met, So who on YouTube?
Now, are you asking this question out of context of our group, or are you talking
anything at all? Anything.
Who on YouTube surprised you the most?
Oh, you can even make it a what? Who or what has surprised on YouTube surprised you most?
It would have to be it would have to be kind of a multiple thing. It's those that had gotten on like yourself, JV, Paul Wright Lawns, Eclectic Beard, all those that you found that little niche, and then all of a sudden, boom, you got these subscribers. You know what I mean? That surprised me, especially JV, because I remember when people were telling me about it, I'm like, no, I don't know what JV's doing, but he didn't get a bunch of people. Then I went and looked, and I'm going, oh my God, he did. And it was just one of those things where I was flabbergasted on, especially when Paul did it, when he just went out on during a random snowstorm and just went live, and next thing you know, he had 5,000 people following him. And then the Eclectic, he worked his ass off to get those, but he was kind of the first one. Him and his the American responding to the English TV shows and stuff, and he just took off like a rocket.
Yeah.
And then I mean, look at you. I mean, you've come a long way in a short amount of time for not being a YouTuber. I mean, that's the thing that gets me. You surpassed me.
Only numbers, remember?
Yeah, that's all it is numbers. I mean, especially I always had that goal of hitting 1,000. And that's back when the old rules were going. But as soon as I hit it, it's not what you think it is. It's not like confetti's flying everywhere and horns are going off, and you're just doing the same thing. It's just the way that you get more subscribers is don't stay in the circles that you're in and expand and go to other circles. Community. I was stuck in the homebrew community. For the longest time.
I mean, my first lot of subs was JV every Friday night because he thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Would put my channel in the chat and go subscribe to Captain.
Yeah.
Because I kept protesting and going, I wasn't doing anything at all at that point, Well,
I remember when you had like 200,
Yeah. It's weird, and then I don't expect people to just because you pop up in a chat. I hate that. I'll somebody you sub to me. It just pisses me off.
Well, no, it's if you enjoy what people are doing, stay subbed.
Yes,
that's the whole thing. Is if you enjoy the content that people are doing, sub away. There's been a couple times where I've gone out like on Farmall or whatever, and they're trying to get people to join everybody else, and I went and found a few really cool people, and I stay subbed to them, but the others I unsub.
I actually unsubbed to people today. Nobody here, but just ones that had subbed to, and then just wasn't found itself that I wasn't watching. And I think that's why. I mean, the vast majority of my subs came from me doing music shorts, so that doesn't actually translate. That's one thing I've learned, and not that I'm overly bothered about, but I've had one AC/DC short that's hit 417K, and it's got me on its own something 1,100 subscribers. But this doesn't mean anything to them, so that people that are watching shorts and subscribing don't come to this, and that's why I keep saying it's only a number. If I have people that subscribe from watching this or the shorts that I've now created from my own content because they know what they're seeing, that's different because they may watch this, and it's so that's why I keep saying they're only numbers,
so only numbers. But I've gained a lot of friendship out of a lot of it too, and I know you have as well.
Yeah, I mean, I met at least 2 people I've liked doing it, so
made a lot of enemies too.
Yeah, fuck them. Okay. I wouldn't say I've made enemies. It's just lots of people don't like me, but that's fair enough. Right. So this one might be a toughie, and remember, you do not have to answer this. So,
sure.
What's been the worst experience of your life?
Well, everybody,
the flip side of it.
Almost everyone knows. I mean, it'll be 12 years. February, I lost one of my kids, and is the most horrific way to live a life afterwards, because there's always the questions and the what ifs and what you could have done or whatever to make it different, and there's nothing you could have done, and learning that has taken a long time for me. Those who don't know, I had my daughter when she was one of my girls when she was 26. She lived in Tucson, and she had surgery. I think she had breast implants done or whatever, and afterwards she got hooked on Oxycontin, and she was out partying one night, and for what I hear recently, like I said, you're always finding out different things. Her blood alcohol was 2.0 or what was it? I think 2.0. So she was like blitzed, and she
That's
took
very high.
OxyContin and went in to go to the bathroom and passed out on the toilet, and the OxyContin slowed her respiration down so much that it killed her. They couldn't revive her or anything. Um, I went through the questions and the guilt and the the what could I have done different or whatever, and yeah, I just it out of the 5 kids, she was the oldest, and it just it was a lightning bolt to my life, and it changed everything after that.
Yeah.
I'm not the same person I was 12 years ago. A grieving father. I will be until I die. Um, and yeah, it's just you get hit twice a year with it, her birthday and her death day. And it's real trying
Yeah, I
to
don't know how I don't know how
this.
you do it. I don't know how you go through it.
Well, a lot of it is faith, a lot of especially nowadays, all of it is intertwined. If it wasn't for faith, I probably wouldn't be here. Uh, that that's the God's honest truth, is that if it wasn't for praying and everything that I did, I don't think I'd be here, Captain, at all. At all. It's horrible.
See, obviously, I knew this because I've known you for a
Yeah.
while, and I actually genuinely thought I'd be taking that question out. I've asked nearly everybody, and so thanks for answering it.
Oh yeah. I'm open. I'm a good book.
Yeah, I know, but like I said, I wasn't sure, So, but and that's why. So I always say to people before we do this, you don't have to answer anything, and
Right.
it's only two friends talking
Well,
on YouTube.
talking about it too, even though it's been, well over 10 years now, it's still therapy to go through it. You know what I mean? Because what happens is when you're going through life, you try not to think about it because of the feelings that come up. Because they're an individual. They have a complete different soul. God gave them a brain that makes them think different than you. Even though you have the same brain, God gives you a different brain. That's what makes us individuals. And she was individual. There will never be anyone like her again. Oh yeah, think Carla. It's imagine having a kid and losing them. I mean, it's part of you, and you've devoted a lot of your life to it, and watching them grow and become an adult. And she became a parent. She was going to get married and everything, and that was just like completely the rug pulled out. And she was an individual, and you can't replace that. It's like a really good. Everyone's different. It's like, Captain. If I was gone tomorrow, I'm somebody that is not anyone else. I have my own stamp on life. It's hard to explain. I mean,
Well, see, obviously, I'm not a parent. I've never bred, So,
I never prayed.
But I mean, they do say that no parent wants to outlive their kids. So, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. So,
Yep.
but no, again, obviously, we're all glad that you're still here. So.
Well, I'm glad I'm still here too.
Yeah, so which sort of leads on. This one's hopefully a bit more positive then. So
There you go.
Have you loved enough in your life?
You can never love enough in your life. One of the talking about therapy, it kind of fell in line with my wife. My wife, she's the oldest of 7 kids, and every year when she was growing up, she would ask her parents for a horse. They couldn't afford a horse. They had 7 kids. They're out in the middle of Nevada, in Ely, Nevada. And her and I, get married. We've been married, going on 29 years this year. But it never came up until we moved to this new place about a horse, and we kind of fell into it. That the horses are the best therapy I've ever had in my life. They the love that you get back and forth, it's insane. The rescue work that we do, because that's how we were introduced, and then we did so much work there that they gave us our horses at the rescue. We have 2 horses that we own, and we take care of 26 to 30 horses on a weekly basis. But
I
going
didn't
out and
realize it
being
was
with,
that many.
huh?
I didn't realize it was that many.
Yeah, at the rescue, there's 3 babies, and then the rest are all adults. And I think one of the mamas is pregnant. So we're always helping with the rehabilitation, cleanup, and everything with them. And having my own horse, I mean, Faith is she's wonderful. She's a firecracker. She's unpredictable. You have to keep your wits about yourself when you're around her, because she's still kind of a child. She's 3, but still working with her, trying to get her where, she'll eventually be ridden and everything. But being with her, just, when she's eating or giving her grain, in a bucket or whatever, I'm holding the bucket and just loving on her while she's eating and everything. That's the best therapy in the world. If you ever get a chance, if you haven't done it before, if you ever been quiet around a horse and a horse will let you approach it, and you place your hand on the side of the horse right behind the front leg where their heart's at, and just stand there and just feel the energy from the horse come into you, and do that for 5 to 10 minutes, just loving on the horse and just doing that. When you walk away, the energy that you get, they're magical to me. I walk away with a clearer head, I should say. I feel energized. I feel like some weight's been lifted from me, and it's all therapy. It's every day I'm with Faith twice, and I feed her twice from the bucket. And just being with her, when I leave her, I'm in such a great mood. I feel great. It's love. It's the it is love. I mean, love is hard to define because love is different for everyone. But it is love. I feel that she feels my energy and I feel her energy, and it's good energy. There's no negative energy. The only time she gives me negative energy is when she turns her ass to me and tries to kick me. But yeah, it's most of it's positive energy, and you can feel it.
Yeah, I get that because I'm an animal lover. I prefer animals over people, so I get that. That would be if I was lucky enough to win millions in the lottery, I'd be buying land and having animals on it, not people.
Right.
So would be my go-to, so yeah, her spin's silly.
That would be dangerous, man. You get the kick on one side, and then you got to watch that horn on the other.
The thing is, Herf's about 1.5 miles from me, and he's probably drunk on whiskey. So,
yeah.
No, okay, fair play. So, question 15 then.
Okay.
Where would you most like to travel to, and why? Now, I know this is different. It might be somewhere you've been to and just want to go to again.
Yeah. That's I would love to go to England again and Ireland again, because when I went there, we had motorcycles there. You didn't want to have a car in the military over there, because when you were done with your tour, it was too much of a hassle to get it back to the United States. And if let's see, so we used to do motorcycle tours everywhere, and we kind of flew through England. We came out through Manchester and London and all that, and made our way all the way up, and then took a ferry across, and then came back down, and we did that in like 4 days. So we didn't really get a stop and really, absorb ourselves within the place. So I would love to go to Europe again, go to England and Ireland. that area. Belfast, I'd love to go to Belfast. I don't think I've been to Belfast.
Yeah. Well, if you come to Belfast, me and Herf will take you out for a whiskey. I know you. Well, you're off the drink at the minute, but when you're
Oh
over
no,
here,
I'll have one if I'm with
yeah,
you.
you'll have a pint of Guinness, and we'll take you for an Ulster fry, and we'll take you to Bushmills, and we'll get you some proper whiskey, none of that moonshine nonsense and bourbon.
So Herfy, I had a Yamaha.
Stop reading the fucking chat. You I parked that to ask you later. Right, you may ask him. You may answer him now.
A little dinky Yamaha.
See, I should have said earlier, don't you be paying attention to the chat. Because if Mark McClellan stuff from the chat to ask at the end, because
I haven't been watching it much, so don't worry.
Miss Peggy's been putting questions in and that. Joey's put questions in about tits and cocks and stuff.
Okay.
But we'll
all right. I won't watch it.
I'll music again then. So
minimize it.
What would your 3 desert island discs be?
Of course, it'd be Iron Maiden, Power Slave for one.
Okay.
Metallica's Master of Puppets album.
Yeah, it would be a potential one for me.
Yeah, let's see a third one, because the third one's always the hardest because there's so many that especially as a musician, that you just absolutely love. I think it'd be Megadeth Peace Cells album.
Right, okay. I like Megadeth. Enjoyed seeing them a few times, but I'm not a massive fan.
Oh, I grew up.
I like them.
I watched them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, mine changes. It probably depends what mood I'm in. But for me, High Voltage, AC/DC, Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd.
There you go.
And then the third one is always difficult because it sort of won a bit of variety, but it could Master of Puppets as a contender because it's just such a good album, or even the Black Album.
You're going to waste 2 albums on one band too, because the Bon Scott era versus Brian Johnson era. I mean, it was High Voltage and Back in Black for me. I mean, so AC/DC's always been up there because they're fun to play too. I mean, when you learn your guitar, they're one of the great bands that you need to start off playing because they're one of the
we're not talking about guitars. I'll talk to you in private about guitars. It's a touchy subject at the minute. So, but my third one is, I know it's a bit weird. I know it's maybe because I'm, the British in me, but Oasis' first album, definitely maybe, is brilliant.
Oasis?
The first album, with Live Forever and Rock and Roll Star and Cigarettes and Alcohol and all. Them two are pricks, but that first album is their best album, Bad Country Mad. And I still go back to it,
Yeah.
But again, it sometimes just depends what mood you're in, because I could ask this next week to somebody else, and something else will have tickled my fancy, and it'll be, it'll be something else,
Well, it's like Southern rock bands. I wasn't really into Leonard Skinner, but I really love 38 Special.
Right,
that type of thing. 1 minute, 1 minute I'm listening to one type of music, the other one I'm into another type of music.
Yeah, because I've been listening to some of the Southern stuff now, and it's a band that I think you all know. I know JV and Blake know them because they did one of their songs back when they still gigged. Yeah, big up the Stone Aces. But Blackberry Smoke.
Yeah, Blackberry Smoke. Yeah,
they're
remember Blake playing that a couple times.
Yeah, Jesus, seeing them in Belfast was just awesome. They were brilliant, and I love that sort of style, So, and it's I like. But then again, my surname's Hearn, and my mate Graham used to call me, me and my brother the Hillbilly Hearns, and right enough, if I was rich enough to move to America, I'd have a pickup truck and shotguns and maybe even get a pair of dungarees and stuff, So, who knows? So, right, okay, no, fair play. So, question 17 then. Have you always made friends easily? And is it getting harder as you get older?
Well, it's kind of weird because the way things have happened, especially after the pandemic, I've always made friends very easily. And as I'm getting older, it's different making friends. I make friends online more than anything nowadays. You know, friends in the circles that we're in. So, um, I've always been the outgoing one in my relationship with my wife. She's she didn't make a friend outside of our relationship, that she has already. She would be a happy camper. I'm always a person. I'm always talking to neighbors and making friends and stuff like that. But nowadays, as I get older, I'm going to be 59 this year. Um, I I find it easier online. I don't see anybody else. I come home, I spend my time online with my friends online, and make new friends then.
Yeah. See this guy here. I used to laugh at him for making friends, having he'd say, "Oh, I'm going." We went to Amsterdam. He's ready to meet somebody that he knew through the internet, through gaming, and I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
wanker," And now look at me, So, um, but yeah, but it's weird. Some people are just like that. Some people just everybody instantly takes to, right?
Yeah.
And I've known people are like that. I can't do it with people because I I know I'm an acquired taste. You know what I mean? You have to get to know me, and then I don't like most people, so
Right. Well,
and
you
I
weed
do,
them out, you become friends, and then you find out who they
yeah.
are.
But I'm no good. You put me in a room. I mean, I always give the example and repeat myself, so I apologize. But um, I was in the chat with yous for what 9 months or more, maybe
Mhm.
before I finally come up. And you kept saying, "Captain, you got to join," and I kept saying, I'll never do it." If I'd have jumped up earlier without knowing you better through interacting with the chat, I would have really struggled on camera. I would have really
Yeah.
struggled, And funny enough, I was reminiscing today, and it popped into my head. If you go back and watch the first one that I joined, you can hear me in the background like a wee schoolboy talking to my cousin, going, "I'm on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. I'm actually on YouTube." It was so weird and so alien,
Yeah.
and because it is surreal when you've never done it before, But I don't. I'm terrible at making friends. It's not easy for me, and it's I just see some people. I mean, Joey. Everybody walks in. Joey doesn't give you a choice. You just go like Joey, or you're going to like him a
You
lot.
have to
You
like
just
Joey.
walk up and
You
the only
twist your arm. He keeps
yeah
twisting.
the only good thing with Joey is he gives you a warning he's coming because you can hear him
Yeah.
from about a mile away. But
Yeah.
he's still But
That's the truth.
yeah, and I mean JV and yourself, when you just come on the panel every right away, knows you or they like you right away, and that comes across. Some of us don't have that. Some of us have to work much harder at it. This has helped a lot. Truth be
Oh,
told,
yeah.
Funny enough, I jumped up on a panel but I finished work today. There's a guy, Buddy East Coast, uh, fella plays guitar and stuff. Nice fella, and his channel is about him playing, So Jimmy C recommended him, and I popped over one day, and I jumped up that day, and I jumped up again today for 10, 15 minutes before I went out
Yeah.
to the job on, and I was talking to him, and I just said like I just find it um. I just find it really difficult because I mean, Miss Peggy's saying that she's a people person, but so I know Clara they met up in Cleveland. I'd have been a different person in Cleveland unless somebody like Joey dragged me out of Michelle. And I don't mean the girl Michelle dragged me out of my shell.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
I would even though I know all yous for a while now, I would find it strange sitting around a table physically with everybody.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
think you'd relax quickly, though.
I would relax. It's just whether or not it'll be quick enough would be the only thing. So
You'll be fine.
um,
I'm going to get a T-shirt made instead of "Shut up, Blake." It'll say "Shut up, you."
yeah. Well, see, Jamie, you said that before, but I know Jamie's a sort. it's weird. JV's that friend that everybody's friends with. He's almost the glue that brought our wee group together.
Right.
Through that. So and if he wasn't likable, it wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? You'd have found somebody else. You'd have been part of a different community. Okay, Blake probably would have found us all because he's like a fucking pimple. You can see it everywhere. And, so he's not walking, so it doesn't matter.
Friday Night Throwdown.
Question 18 then. Who is the most overrated band of all time?
Overrated band.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm not. That's the first drink I've had since last weekend, and I've only sipped it.
Oh, I'd love to ride an Indian. That'd be great. Overrated band.
Oh, Alan G, just so you know, Herf, who is Mr. PC in my world, but just while Thrash is thinking, the last time he was up here, he said he was going to get a webcam and he was going to do this show one night, but he was drunk, so he might not remember.
God, I don't want to go that far back in the 70s.
No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Well, I got to keep it kind of current to like. Let's see, what would it be? Most overrated. God, that's hard. It's kind of like the Village People, where they were just overexposed.
Well, okay. Well, I'll tell you my thinking of it. I'm not going to give you my answer, but I don't mean just a band that was massive, even though they were crap. Because popularity is no guarantee of quality. Because I mean, NSYNC and fucking is BTS, the big K-pop band, and they're massive, but they're crap. I don't mean that, but who's a band that everybody keeps going on about? Oh, you've got to hear this. You've got to hear this. This band is great. These are the greatest of all time.
Well, the thing is I've been out of that circle for a long time because I have bands that I listen to, and I don't listen to like new music, and unless I'm in the car, like with my wife, listen to country or something like that. But all the bands nowadays they're all cookie cutter bands. So a lot of them are a lot overrated bands. But let's see.
Okay, well, in the genre that you and I listen to, then so you're a rocker, I'm a rocker. We may dabble in other things, a bit of country, a bit of classic crooners, and when the mood takes us and all. But
so rock and metal, so overrated bands. I would say Metallica is an overrated band.
Really?
They're because after they lost when they ran out of Mustaine's material, they went downhill. Look at Saint Anger. Look at some of these albums that they put out after the fact. I mean, they still tour on the Black Album, and I'm an old school Metallica. I'm Ride the Lightning. I'm Kill 'Em All. I'm Master of Puppets, and Justice for All. But Saint Anger and Out. I mean, sure, I love the Black Album. I mean, Bob Rock did a really good job producing it and got them millions and millions of dollars, but that's all they tour on now is Enter Sandman and all that shit.
But I know I know there is the narrative that Mustaine left, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big Mustaine fan, but I would accept that. He get paid royalties for a lot of stuff he did, even on Metallica. But could it been as much Cliff Burton, Dan, as Mustaine leaving?
I think it was both of them because Cliff Burton, he was a player underneath the more Bach, Mozart, more of that craft on the bass. He was more of that type of player. He brought a lot. So I'd say it'd be both of them because I remember interviews with Mustaine where he told him not to use his material, and they did when they kicked him out of the band. But I think when Cliff Burton died, he actually died on my birthday in '86. I remember that vividly. I think both of them were the downfall of the rest of them because they're jonesing for material. They have all kinds of material. You see them in the practice sessions and everything. Okay, let's pull out number 67, and they start playing with it and seeing if it works out. Okay, that didn't work out. Hey, what about 982? It's not the band that we know that started off in the garage. You know what I mean? It's all produced. It's all the productions more than what it is. The heart of the song.
So I have to. I will address this. If Lizzo's lost 70 pounds, that's probably just had a massive shit. And it doesn't make her any more likable or any more talented. So so well,
so, from our genre, I think Metallica just blew up, and they left us that were. I mean,
the only thing I'll say though is at least they were brilliant for a long time.
They were.
There's bands out. I mean, the amount of people that rave about the Who, for argument's sake, and I can't stand them.
Oh, same here. My father loved them.
Yeah, I don't like the music. I don't like his voice. He's quite a nice guy. I've seen him interviewed and all. He always comes across
right.
But
or the Beatles.
Somebody's going to say, "I love the Beatles." So I can't. And again, he's not here, so there's no point. But there's one. I know you and JV will hate me for saying it, but Rush, the amount of people that rave about Rush, and I can't stand them.
Well, and they changed a lot towards the end too when they started doing Snakes and Arrows and stuff like that. I really wasn't into what Geddy was trying to get at with the music, but the older stuff, Signals album, Moving Pictures, all of those, I absolutely loved. The older Rush stuff, Fly By Night, all that stuff, I love that stuff. But when you start getting up into, they're just making an album to make an album, and to listen to Neil Peart and them do their thing. I mean, they're freaking beautiful musicians. Don't get me wrong, but I was kind of getting doled out on the music at the end.
See, again, I think a lot of this comes down to you and JV are musicians, so you appreciate the musicianship, the songwriting, the musical skill of the playing skill of but the problem is, to me, it hurts my head listening to them.
Well, it does the same. I mean, I don't play it around my wife because she has the same thing. She says this shit gives me a headache. It's like listening to Joe Satriani. I love Satriani, but I can't play that around her. Or someone like Yngwie Malmsteen. I mean, they're just noodled. They're noodling all over the damn place, and it. I know what's going on, but my wife's, it's noise to her.
Yeah,
same thing.
Absolutely. And so that's. But I was surprised. We said Metallica. Yeah, that's. But I get.
I'm surprised I said it too.
Yeah. So.
But they have the longevity. I mean, how many albums do they have now? How many of them make sense like they did back when they first started?
Yeah, because look, I love it. I mean, I've got my Metallica, tattoo and all. I love Metallica. One of the best gigs I saw was them doing the Black album, Download 2012, where they played. It was the anniversary of the album. They played the whole album. They played it in reverse order, mind you.
Yeah,
they played the Black album, and then they did a load of other stuff after it. Brilliant.
Well, I was part of the Metallica fan club for years and years and years, and I had such a low number that every time they came to town, I got to go backstage and be with them. Yeah. The meet and greets and everything that went along with them. I had posters I brought back from Germany when I saw them in Germany and had them signed, 20 years after the fact, when I first got it, the tickets and everything. I mean, I remember, Jason Newsted going up to and said, remember meeting me in Germany? And he goes, "Oh, in that club, it looked like a big old fishbowl." I said, "Oh yeah, I remember. That was back in 1986 or 87."
Right.
God, Joey.
Okay, Joey, you made me lose track now. But no, well,
Yeah, I was talking about the membership that I had with them.
but Metallica do look after their fans. Okay,
They do.
some days it might be bullshit.
Except Lars. Lars is a fucking puss.
See, I know you say this every time, but I've heard a lot of people talking about how good he was. So I don't know.
He
I've never
ignored
met
me
him.
every time I never met Lars in person. He walked by me. The closest I've been to is a foot.
Yeah, the thing is, but the difference being, look, if they're outside my door, if they were going to put the guitars on and play, brilliant. But see if they just wanted, do you want to come out for a photo? I'd tell them to fuck off. I've no interest in famous people. I
Right.
want to hear the music. But at least they go through. Like I've said this, I've been to you know me. I've been to hundreds of gigs. I go to as many gigs as I can. And one of my biggest disappointments live is AC/DC because it's just done with the numbers.
Yeah.
I've seen them and I wanted to see them. It was great. But they come out, and I don't mean Metallica come out and talk about the Metallica family. They talk about, we have been in Belfast since 1987 and all this here. And okay, maybe somebody's looking up for them going and you know what I mean? But Blackberry Smoke talked about the fact that he'd Irish heritage and stuff, the DNA and all. And then he knew enough to joke about, they were playing Dublin the next night and there was a wee jokey boo in the crowd. And,
Right. Yeah.
But AC/DC, it was just by the numbers. Literally, do you remember, was it Spinal Tap when they were on The Simpsons? And it was literally they called out the wrong name of the city because they're literally somebody's just taped the name of the city that they're in, and AC/DC are like that. There's no interaction with the crowd. There's no nothing, And but Metallica, at least when you go to see them, talk to the crowd, and
right.
So I'll always give them credit for that, because.
Yeah, they were nice and everything when I met them and stuff. It's just last time I saw them was I was I remember going backstage and getting pictures taken with Jason and James. Kurt wasn't there. Lars wasn't there. What was it? 98, I think.
Not me, Jessica.
Poets of the Fall, really good prog rock band. No, I'm not familiar with that one. There's so many really good skilled musicians as well on YouTube, and they come out of the woodwork showing it off too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. So
I'm not even showing my face on YouTube.
Question 19. What's your favorite conspiracy theory? This triggered somebody last week.
Yeah. Oh, I want to jump right to JFK, but the UFO shit. Yeah, Roswell, stuff like that. The UFO stuff. How the government can cover up something, saying it's a weather balloon or something like that. If I'm always looking at if it's true. Let's say it is true that aliens did come. The cover up that the government did, and then look at what happened last year or the year before when they come out and say yes, UFOs are real or whatever, and we have stuff to prove it's correct. Just the conspiracy theories surrounding those things, like that happened back in the 1950s or so.
Yeah,
people getting anal probed and needles in their belly button, and being not being knocked unconscious, but being a semi unconscious on a UFO while they're doing experiments on them, stuff like that.
Yeah, I know her sort of joking. So you do believe in aliens, but no, it's the conspiracy theory we're talking about, not the actual visitation. Because I don't know. I love them all. I believe next to none of them. But I love watching stuff and hearing stuff about them. And I have joked about it. The one about the aliens planted us on the earth and instilled this love of gold even before it was and that's why we all desire gold, so they can harvest it and stuff. I only heard that recently, and I was like,
Right.
okay, that's weird. I love
Or
the moon
aliens in
landing
the
one.
pyramids,
Yeah,
shit like that.
yeah. I love the moon landing one. I love the fact that people think that's all a hoax.
Oh yeah,
and
I
it's
know it. They proved it. I mean, they have the orbiters go around the moon, and they have pictures of the landing sites and everything.
Christ, I think there's certain people I think
And flat
you could
earthers.
yeah, you could take them to the moon so as they could be on the moon and see the round Earth, and they'd still think that we didn't go to the moon and the Earth's flat. So I think
Right.
some people are just a lost cause.
And the Earth is the only flat planet in the solar system.
Yeah, I know. It's a nonsense, but yeah, people get so annoyed about it.
They're the ones that need to anal probe.
Yeah. Do your own research. Bullshit. I don't understand. I couldn't make a nuclear reactor work. But doesn't mean it isn't real. So
right.
It's bullshit. But no, the moon landing one's brilliant. There's a great show over here called QI, and even if you just go onto YouTube and look up QI, the moon landings, and it's one of those ones they ask questions, and then people give the answers they think are true or something funny, and nearly always the answers are wrong. But they talk about the moon conspiracy, and one of the things the guy, Stephen Fry, who's fantastic. He was the host back then, and he says one of the things that it should make people think this really did happen was if the Americans were faking it, the Russians would have told the world.
Oh, of course, because we beat them.
Yeah, so why wouldn't the Russians just come out at the time and go, it's all bullshit, they didn't do it, and the Russians were, say what you want about them, but they were great spies, they'd have known if it was bullshit.
Of course.
And they would have told the world,
Yep.
and it's
all during the Cold War. Yeah, they would have told everyone.
Yeah, so but there are people that just won't accept anything they're told, and again, it's one of those things like this YouTube thing. I love the history stuff, and there's a and I name this every week. There's a wee because EB's just on a reaction on one of them where it's called History Matters, and it's they're animated history things, and they put a wee bit of humor into them, but they're at most 10 minutes long, so you can put on, for argument's sake, like the American War of Independence, where all the ungrateful colonials, wouldn't accept British rule. But they'll break that into maybe 3 parts. The English Civil War or Civil Wars. They'll break them into certain things. The Napoleonic Wars, and it's brilliant. So for every good thing out there, you've got 1,000 guys going, well, JFK was killed by the orangutans in the zoo, or we couldn't have went to the moon. Sure, you can't get through. You can't get past the rainbows or something. It's
right.
It's nonsense. So,
stupid.
Yeah. So, okay. So the last proper question then. What one thing from your childhood do you regret your children not having or doing?
Outside. I mean, as a kid growing up in the country, I spent a lot of time with my other friends outside. Joy. Outside with titties in his face. But yeah, going out and getting the life lessons, falling off your bicycle, getting bruised, getting scraped up, flying through barbed wire fences, trying to ride a cow, getting chased by roosters, just nowadays kids spend so much time in the screens that they don't get the, even though they do get outside some, I don't think they get out enough life lessons that you learn in life, almost drowning, broken bones, the things physically that us kids did outside, and our parents trusted us enough to be able to come home when the street lights came on. I think that's my kids they're old enough where they got part of that, and things were just turning to uh, getting into the TV, the Nintendos and
Yeah.
the Super Nintendos and all that stuff, and they first started coming out. They got to play outside. They rode bikes all the time. We went out and played catch and played. They did the outdoor sports and stuff with their neighbor friends and everything. But
Yeah.
you don't see a lot of that anymore. Everyone's competing online, and everyone's sitting down and they have a controller in their hand.
See, I was part of the. I mean, the Nintendo, the NES, and the SNES and all were coming out when I was a kid, and we got them. Yes, there was times whenever the weather was bad, but I sat and played them for hours inside. But even then, we still go out and kick a football about.
Yeah.
You know, all the time, and it was only really at night that we'd have been in front of the TV or would have put a game on or whatever. And
Yep.
it's weird. It's almost everybody's given very similar answer. It's so there must be something to it. I mean, it can't just be us old fuckers sitting. Yeah, life was better when we were kids, but it is worrying how little.
Well, it was routine too. I mean, a lot of routine where, like you said, you go out and play during the day, especially like on the weekend or whatever. And you had or a weekday or whatever it was. You go out, do your thing, and then you have dinner as a family. If you had both parents, you had all your kids. We all ate together, and then afterwards, everyone had to take a bath or whatever, especially if you had school the next day. And then you watch TV with your parents until a certain, and we'd watch Wild Kingdom. We'd watch The Love Boat, stuff like that. And then as soon as Lawrence Welk came on, it was time for us to go to bed. So we had routine.
Yeah. Look, I did nip down. I did nip down the hospital today and pick something up. I was waiting for the guy to come out and see us, and there was I had this T-shirt on, so the wee woman, nice wee woman, but she says to me, she said, who's the band? And I said, it's Iron Maiden. She said, all right, okay. She didn't know them. She's just being polite. She's just making conversation, but I'm going to be polite and say her child sitting beside her. And she goes, oh, and my son, Colin, like, she said, I'm looking at going, no way that's a fucking son. No way. Green hair, just looked like a fucking fat lesbian, but then the kids just, and she's trying to talk, and the kids just really low, just not, and just dismissive and everything. And I wanted to go over and slap him, and I'm just thinking, look, my mom and dad, if I'd have been rude like that, I still wouldn't talk like that in front of my mum. My mum's fucking 80. The only reason I make this is mine. She'll not be able to see me now, she'll not be able to find me. But and I was just like, I wouldn't have got away with that. And whenever she fucked off, there was a wee old woman, and I just went, am I wrong? She said that was a boy, and I thought that was a girl, and she went, yeah, I thought the same. I said, bet she's one of them fucking non-binary cunts, and for me, that's just fucking, bad parenting. But
I'm a traditionalist.
Yeah, but the thing is, we were through out of the house, right? You're up, you've had your breakfast. Now, fuck off. Come back at dinner time, And then after you do it,
I was the weird one, growing up. I remember I'm from a country background. All of my family and stuff, they're cowboy hats. They have ranches, everything else. And my uncle, I remember when I got my ear pierced. I had my hair long. I got my ear pierced. I was one of the first ones in my high school to get my ear pierced. And he came over and saw it. And, he's country, cowboy hat, the boots, everything, he ran a ranch. He had 1,000, cows. He's a cowboy. He broke horses, everything else. And I was his niece from then on. He called me his niece from then on.
See, I was joking about this in the car earlier with brother. I said, what do you think my dad would have done if you'd have said, well, they'd like, Dad, I'm non-binary, or I think I'm a girl, and I don't think it has stopped hitting us. You know what I mean? I think it would have been just shut the fuck up. It's
Yeah, wait till they get bored with it and want to go back.
Yeah, and
It's just a fad.
I know, but what did make me laugh yesterday, because I like Twitter. I know everybody does, not everybody does, but some lunatic posted a picture of themselves, and the nose pierced three different ways. That you just looked at it, you just knew you should have put you in a bucket. You know what I mean? You're a fuckwit, But they're all upset and they're posting it publicly. I came out to my dad yesterday as trans and non-binary, and he said to me, "Well, I identify as childless. You need to pack your bags. You're leaving." And I just thought that's a perfect dad. No, we're not going to accept this bullshit. Just it's
Exactly.
yeah. But I'm gonna veer slightly. You said about getting your ears pierced. I had my ear pierced once as a kid, right? But I had to take it out and it closed up because I had to go for an operation on my ear. I think it called
Mine's
in.
pierced 3 times on this side. I didn't get this side pierced at all.
But the only reason it made me laugh is popped in my head. So growing up in Belfast, the way I was told it as a kid, right? So where I'm from, and as it turns out, when you get to know people, uh, this varies from area to area. But I grew up in a very loyalist Protestant British part of Belfast. So what we were told was you could tell where you got your ear pierced. So as a kid, I was under the belief that if you got a pierced in your right, you were abroad. If you got a pierced in your left, you were Catholic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now I don't think
ours was if you got pierced in the left, you were normal. If you got pierced on the right, you were gay.
See, that committed as well. That could be because us broads thought like Catholics were gay. So it could have been just that simple. Somebody's maybe heard that on the TV.
Well, Protestant is just Catholic light,
Well, yeah. Well, it depends which branch of Protestantism, I suppose. Church of Ireland, they have the frocks and everything. And I remember we went to one of my mum's relatives' funerals. I suppose technically that means I'm sitting in the Church of Ireland thinking banger, snowing outside, and it's freezing. I'm going, and the fucking thing, the guy went on and on for ages, and I'm going, would you shut the fuck up? And the only time I've been to a few Catholic funerals, and I hate the fact because the priests they think we've got these fuckers, we'll torture them for an hour, we'll convert 2 or 3 of them, and they just hammer. They've got that.
You just got to look into it a little different. That's all.
Yeah, they've got that captive audience, and they're going to frighten you over death and stuff. And I don't think it's fair on a grieving family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Funerals are hard enough, but to have to listen to somebody up front, whether you believe it or not, it's still a hard subject to be sitting having somebody going,
yeah,
you're all damned, you're all going to hell unless you do this, that, and the other, and it's just, so
yeah.
But so
anyway, question 21.
Well, this is
the question for you.
The first one, so no, it's not. What's the single best piece of advice?
Mine's a 2-parter. Oh, plus one. What's the single best piece of advice you can share with the world? Yeah. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart and love with it, with everyone. Share your, give your goodness to people through your heart. Makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like the do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Only you start it. You be the domino effect. You start the dominoes. Start it with love.
Okay. Right. Okay. No, that's because a lot of people believe in love. I think it's a myth. So.
Well, you listen to a lot of music that has hell in it, hell-based references, right?
Yeah, that's all about the tune.
That's hate. That's negative. But love is part of the positive part. It can be whatever you want as long as it's positive.
Okay. No, fair play. Okay. Right. So last one then. Well, not even a real question. Just have you one thing you would like to ask me?
Yeah, it's a two-parter. I was going to get to it. You said you had to restring your acoustic guitar.
Yes.
How long ago was that?
Oh, it was a lot of months ago.
Did you get it restrung? Is it working?
Yeah, it's a good guitar. I just can't play it.
Okay, and then second part, why are you being a hypocrite? And I saw your unboxing the other day. You got a guitar. Are you going to be playing it on the lives?
No.
Liar.
No, no, absolutely not. I think uh if your show's about it, then
Yeah.
have at it. If it's your show and that's what you want to do, you have at it. But the amount of panels that are ruined because somebody randomly
Oh,
pulls out a
yeah.
guitar and just sits and strums, or worse, strums and sings, is a shame.
It's a
The
shame.
look, you know me, I'm a music guy. I love music, and I love listening to, I love listening to, and it's not that like better than being in a pub with a guy sitting in the corner, playing the guitar and singing. You know what I mean? So I'm not against it. I just think there's a time and a place for it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's hard on a panel too because usually everyone's about the same volume level, and usually when they start doing it, they go a little above that, and it's hard to hear other people when they're doing it.
Yeah, and I just think
You don't hear people saying "shut up."
I mean, the thing is, if for argument's sake, you and JV and BC and all decided we'll do a guitar show, you know what I mean, and we're you're expecting people to lift the guitar and do stuff, then that's different.
And we've done that before. I mean,
yes,
yeah, we've done it before.
but when you get, when you're sitting
especially if you
talking,
mix alcohol when you're doing it too.
well, there is that as well. It's hard enough. It's hard enough sometimes on a panel, and it's I just think, I mean, and there's this like Colin a few times on JVs was just, you just want to say, would you shut the fuck up, because he literally wouldn't even ask, he would just start playing, expect everyone to stop talking so he could play, play it, so, and it's not, it just isn't the right place. Like, I mean, there's Traveling Food. So I met him on, I was talking about Buddy East Coast. Buddy plays his guitar on his panel, but that's what his show's about.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Yeah.
So you know what you're getting when you get there. It's not that Buddy invites you up and then all of a sudden starts trying to show off to you, or just gets drunk and wants to play for everybody. So So that's what it is. I'd love to be able to play. I've had that for 30 years. I can't play it because I'm a moron. I just can't do it.
Well, your new guitar, that should be a spark for you to get going.
Maybe, but like I say, it's a touchy subject.
I like the orange amp that you got too. The orange makes great.
No, again, you're not taking the hint. It's a touchy subject. I'm not going to talk about it here. I'll talk to you when we go private behind this. So. But right, so we'll ask a couple of questions from the chat then,
Okay.
So I don't know, I haven't looked at too many since earlier. So just try like covers of Master Puppets such as swing covers like Scary Pockets or
Scary Pockets or Postmortem Jukebox? I never heard of that. So I can do a lot of covers of Metallica mostly. And then other things that we played when I was in bands. But you show me a song that sounds really good, I'll see if I can play it. I can cover it.
Good. I'm not. There are some great covers. You know, we did a covers versus originals debate on JVs, and it was great. But I tend to prefer originals of things, and I certainly don't. I mean, the likes of people like doing swing covers of that would probably drive me fucking nuts, to be honest.
Yeah.
So Chris, can you play?
Can you play
You
behind
play
your
behind
head?
your head?
Jimmy.
Yeah, there's a few like that, you know. So one from Miss Piggy. Been waiting for a while. This one. What was the food like in Germany?
Oh, it was cool, man, because that's the first time I really had, you know, a real good schnitzel. Or we used to go to the train station, the S-Bahn, and they would serve, you know, French fries. They're called pommes frites, and the big old French fries, and they put them in a paper cone, and then they put a big old dollop of mayonnaise on it. And the mayonnaise that they have is like a spicy mayonnaise. Dude, that was the bomb. We used to go from the club and then back to the Caserna where our barracks are at and past the train station all the time. So we used to go in there and get pommes frites on the way back and eat French fries on the way all the way back.
Yeah, we've seen that in Amsterdam. They do something similar, but they do it's like a big cone, and they'll have the French fries in it. Then they put mayonnaise and then tomato sauce on it.
Yeah.
And when we first looked at it, it was like, you know, that looks and sounds disgusting. But see, once you try it, it's like, okay, that's really nice.
Like, I need to get my own.
Yeah. You know.
But yeah, there's a lot of good food over there that I do miss.
Let's see.
I feel like the time was overall beneficial to his life. He's done something. If I had to do my life over again, I'd do it again because it was a great experience. I think the military actually made me grow up, and if it wasn't for the military doing that to me, I don't know where I'd be right now. Because the darkness of being, you know, the abuse and stuff as a kid, I don't know where I'd be. I think the military actually helped me through that. It, you know, changes you in the head. I think it makes you smarter. It makes you think things differently. More, what would you call it? You think of things more before you actually act upon it. Instead of just being reactive, you become a leader. You start thinking.
Right. Okay. No, I think a lot of people have positive, you know, think the military's been positive for them. So, but not Joey. Then you know, didn't work for Joey. Who leads a band, the drummer or the bass player? Who would you say is the best drummer?
I think it's both. The drummer and the bass player both do it. They both have to be in the pocket. That's what we call it. Especially when they're starting off a song. Either the drummer or the bass when they come in. Everything is laid over that foundation is the bass and the drummer, man.
Not what about the rhythm guitarist?
Well, the rhythm guitarist is usually in the pocket with the bass player. When we would perform on stage, I was usually in the pocket with the lead guitarist. The band I was in, Never Surrender, it was a cover band, and all of us sang lead. And when we weren't singing lead, we were a backup vocal for everyone else. So we were always doing harmony, everything else. So everyone was playing off of everyone, especially on the vocal side. But instrument wise, I was always cueing off the other guitarists. Either it be the bass or the lead guitarist. You know, the drums always kept the tempo, but you know, I always was off the vocal or depending on what was going on, you know, any other instrument.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. I always thought just hearing people, I always thought it was the rhythm guitar, so I never really took the lead off him, you know, or not the rhythm, yeah. Like Malcolm Young and that at AC/DC, you know, I always read that people took the lead from him, you know, so.
Right.
But I mean,
usually the people that have the foundation of the band is the bass player and the drummer, both inclusively.
Okay. Yep, fair play. So Dave wants. I wanted to ask this myself, but so do you have
Oh,
your
favorite guitar? I played so many gigs. Ugh. I have an American Fender, but this is a Korean Fender. I played on stage with this for 13 years.
right?
Absolutely love it. I got to fix the nut on it. If you notice the white part that goes across the top, it's missing right at the edge here. That bridge I need to get fixed. The nut, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, this Fender Strat has been everywhere. This thing is great. I have a blue American Fender. I'm a Fender guy.
Okay.
That one's got some great crunch. I don't have an Atari 2600. I never owned one, but I'd like to get a hold of one. I do. I also do retro computers. I fix retro computers, Commodores, Apples, the old ones, the 80s and late 70s stuff.
Okay. Right. So your friend. Right. That's okay. Cool. It's nice. It's nice guitar.
Here's a
Commodore
This
64.
is
See, we
a
was talking about
Commodore
that
64C. I refurbished this one. I do sell them too, people.
earlier.
I fix them. I keep them from the landfill.
That's a good skill to have. So, right, we've got a couple of Joey questions. So, it has number of people that have seen your balls in one day. That's going to be a military question, probably. It's bound to be Sharon or something in the army.
Well, you have to be over them, right, Joey?
Okay.
God.
So,
Oh,
Thrash,
no
tell us
tattoos.
None?
No tattoos. I hate needles, man.
Yeah, me too. I
As-
hate needles.
Being in the military, as many needles as I saw, I never got a tattoo. I always went to the tattoo parlors with the guys I hung out with, but I never got a tattoo.
It's a weird thing. I never saw it, but I know some real hard men over here, and they'd go into the tattoo parlor and they'd be crying in the chair. I mean, literally, oh, stop it, stop it, stop it. You know, people that were like proper tough, you know. But
I just can't get the needle shit out of my head. I'd be in there puking. I'd be absolutely puking
yeah,
or
no,
passed out.
um, okay. So let's see from Miss Peggy again.
Yeah,
She
you can call
called
me
you
Superman.
Right, so it's a serious one that you put in when you were talking about your loss of your daughter. So, I want to show support to a parent who's lost a child.
You just how do you support a parent who lost a child?
Ask Tony.
Yeah, it's hard. Is that Stone?
Yeah, I was joking, Carla.
Well, my son Matthew, I mean, he's got his whole arm. He's got Bible verses on his ribs. I mean, he's like you. He loves them all. He's got the rosary. He's got airborne. All this stuff he did in the military. I mean, on both arms. It's on his chest, on his back, everything. Lots of money. Tattoos cost a lot of money.
Oh, I know. That's why it helps if you could befriend a tattoo artist like I did.
Right. See, you can make friends, Captain.
Well, in fairness, he was a friend of my brother's more than but yeah. Oh, I can do it. I just don't want to. Okay, so we're going to end on one of Joey's. So, have you ever got loaded and told poultry to fuck off? I would imagine you probably
He's
have.
full on edibles.
So yeah. See, Herf's got a couple.
Yep, yourself.
So right
now, if I was to get tattoos, I would get my airborne wings put right here, and then I would have my sergeant stripes here.
Yeah. Okay. There's bound to be tattoo parlors for cards. You know, you've got dentists for the cards where you go and they'll put the gas. And
Yeah.
there's bound to be somewhere you can go and just tell them what you want. And they'll put you to sleep, and you'll wake up
Put
at
me
that
out.
time. Okay, so JV's got a question. So I thought we were going to do, but JV's. What's your favorite moment
Oh,
playing
favorite
music?
moment playing music. When our band, we were playing the beer gardens outside of um it was up in Greeley where I graduated high school. They have the rodeo and everything, and ZZ Top was the headliner, and we played right before ZZ Top took the stage. It was awesome. It was so fucking cool.
Right. Good.
We
Right.
we there were supposed to be 3 bands playing where we were doing it. We were the first band, and the other 2 bands didn't show up, so we filled their slots. We had that much material.
Right.
We had so many people watching us that the beer gardens ran out of beer and almost ran out of food. It was
This
cool
with
as
no.
hell.
This
ZZ
with
Top
no.
took the stage.
Right. Was this with no surrender?
Yeah, Never Surrender. Yeah.
Oh, never surrender. I thought it was no surrender. Okay.
Yeah, Never Surrender was the band.
Because you'd have to. Yeah. No, fair
was
play. No, that's a good one. So, hello, Cassie.
Hey, Cassie.
Yeah. So we know Cassie's covered in them. Some good ones too.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Cassie.
So right. So we're going to end it there. So just everybody in the chat, thank you very much for being here. A lot of you's been here the whole time. Thrash, thank you so much for doing this. I really enjoyed it. So, have you anything you want to shout out or anything just before we go? Anything coming up? Anything you want to promote?
Nothing really. I've been if you don't see me around, I am around. With not drinking alcohol now. I'm going on a month now, not even missing it. So what's happening is I'm trying to fill that void with doing other things. So I'm looking at a couple other hobbies that I'm working on. And I'm always trolling. I'm not coming up on a lot of lives, especially when it has to do with drinking and everything. So I'm trying to keep a distance on that, but I'm still around. So if you don't hear from me, I know like JV reached out because he hadn't heard from me for a while. Things are good. It's just I'm doing nothing, but I am watching everyone. So nothing's changed from that standpoint. It's just coming up on the lives where there's a lot of when things are getting belligerent and people are getting drunk. I don't want to hang out with that anymore.
Well, it's not too many super drunk panels now. I mean, I have a couple of whiskeys, but I don't tend to be drunk. JV's off it, you're off it. The only drinkers really was me and Blake, and I'm not a big
it's
drinker
changed
anyway,
a lot.
Yeah. I don't want to be. I don't want to be more of a dick on panel than I normally am, so I don't want to get too drunk, So,
but yeah, I'm around. Anyone wants to talk? I have an email address in my about on YouTube.
And you're on Instagram.
Shoot me an email.
And Instagram's handy for just contact, and that's the only reason I use it. I don't really post on it, So, Jessica wants to know if Never Surrender's on Amazon or anything.
No, it was a cover band, so we used to do we used to do cover songs, so we can't.
Again on YouTube.
I have some old stuff on my YouTube page.
Okay.
Me performing, yeah.
Okay. So yes,
sort by oldest to newest, and you'll come across it first because the band I disbanded back in 2009. So
you don't miss that. You don't miss actually out gigging.
Yeah, I do. The problem is that it turns into one big babysitting session, and when you're setting up. I ran sound and the lights and everything from stage, and I used to help the drummer set up, and everyone else would come in like 15 minutes before the gig's supposed to start, and they went sound checked. And you tear down. The lead singer's too busy with flirting with people in the crowd and don't want to help break down. So a lot of it was on me and the drummer, and we just got sick of doing everything.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
JV had to babysit people in the Stone Aces. We're not going to name who he specifically babysat, but JV had to do it. BC he had to perform a lot because they wouldn't practice, they wouldn't, So
Yep.
yeah, I hear that a lot. So I
Pain in
know
the ass.
Jules is sneaking in under Cassie's name, Um, I think. Oh, I know. We need to bring back your Saturday Lives.
Probably coming up soon. I was gonna do one tomorrow, but I'm going to I have a nephew. They're having a baby shower, and I'm gonna go over and celebrate with them.
Yeah. No, fair play. But yeah, the salaries. The only thing I'd suggest with the salaries is just, especially now that you're off the drink and stuff, just be firmer about who you let up and who No, don't mean look. You know what? I'm not gonna ban mouth Fulton or any of them cunts. I always say it's your show, it's your panel. But just if certain people are coming up drinking and all that, there, just don't let them up.
Right.
Um,
Well,
your
yeah,
show.
I got to distance myself from it because it's not good for me.
Yeah, it's entirely your show. It's you let up whoever you need to, who want to be around, and don't let up somebody you don't. At the end of the day,
Right.
they're only people you've met on the fucking internet a few times. So you have to choose who to spend. Be my
Exactly.
advice. You look the way I said it. The way I said on my channel, I control who's on it. Okay, on your channel or Blake's or JV's, I can't control who's on your
Right.
channel, but I can control if I want to join it. I can only control who
Exactly.
I
Yep.
spend time with. And that's just the way. That's the way I look at it. And I think some people put themselves through unnecessary stress on this thing by letting people up that they don't want to be there.
Right.
And we're not all going to like the same people. Is the other thing as well. Which is why I would never
Right.
turn around and go, I'm not. Okay, there was one. Kyle's a cunt. Kyle can fuck off and die. You know what I mean? Anybody that's abusing animals, fuck them.
Yep.
But I just avoid. I just stay out of the road. You know what I mean? So,
Exactly. Yep.
but
Same here.
and that's it. Um, so anyway, listen, Thrash, thank you very much. This has
You bet,
been
man.
great. Really enjoyed this. So we're going to
Thanks,
hang out
chat.
for a couple of minutes. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thanks for spending time with us because I know you've much better things to do than listen to our hurry fuckers on YouTube talking.
It's Friday.
It's Friday. Well, Saturday
Saturday for you.
technically for us. So thanks everybody, and we'll see you soon. Okay, and we are out of here.